We begin our journey tonight by drifting quietly through the silent, heavy curtains of deep time. You are floating in a void that is not empty, but filled with waiting history. The light we seek has been traveling toward us for more than 13 billion years. It has crossed the vast, expanding deserts of the cosmos just to reach your eyes tonight. We are moving backward against the flow of the river, returning to the very beginning. Imagine yourself leaving the comfort of the earth and dissolving into the velvet black of space. The stars you know are fading behind you, like the lights of a distant, sleeping city. We are hunting for a ghost that hides in the crowded darkness of the early universe. It is a presence that wears a mask of innocence to conceal a ravenous heart. You are safe here, drifting weightlessly in the space between the galaxies, where nothing can touch you. The silence is absolute, a thick and comforting blanket that wraps around your tired mind. We are looking for an object known to astronomers by the gentle name of Virgil. It sounds like a poet or a guide who might lead us through the underworld. But this celestial object is a master of disguise, waiting patiently in the deep past. It sits in the epoch just 800 million years after the Big Bang occurred. This was the time when the universe was still waking up from its primordial slumber. The darkness was ending, and the first great fires were igniting across the endless void. We are traveling to the era of cosmic dawn, where the fog of hydrogen was lifting. It is a time so ancient that the light from it feels tired and heavy. As we approach this distant coordinate, we expect to see the chaotic birth of stars. We expect to find a nursery of young galaxies huddled together for warmth in the cold. But Virgil stands apart, radiating a signal that feels strangely calm and deceptively ordinary. It appears to our instruments as a simple smear of light against the black canvas. There is nothing in its outward appearance to suggest the monster breathing quietly inside it. It looks like a standard galaxy, a common citizen of the early and violent cosmos. We call objects like this a Lyman-alpha emitter because of the specific light they release. It is a fingerprint of glowing hydrogen gas that tells us stars are being born. For decades, we have looked at these smudges and believed we understood their simple nature. We thought they were merely collections of blue stars illuminating the gas clouds around them. It is a comforting thought to imagine the universe as a predictable and understood machine. But tonight, we are peeling back the skin of the cosmos to see what lies beneath. Virgil is not what it seems, and the tranquility it projects is a carefully crafted lie. Imagine standing on a dark shore and seeing a lighthouse blinking softly in the distance. You assume it is a guide for ships, a beacon of safety in the night. But as you drift closer, you realize the light is not coming from a tower. The light is a lure, dangling in the dark to attract the unwary traveler. This is the true nature of the galaxy we are observing in the silence tonight. It projects the image of a normal star-forming system to hide its terrible secret. The light we see is real, but it is not the whole story. The universe is vast enough to hide things that defy our logic and our comfort. When we look at Virgil through our standard telescopes, we see only the mask. We see the glowing hydrogen that suggests a peaceful, if energetic, creation of new suns. It is a picture of cosmic fertility, a garden growing in the gloom of the dawn. But there is a shadow falling across this garden that we did not notice before. Something is disrupting the natural order, something that does not belong in a normal galaxy. We must understand that 800 million years after the Big Bang is very early. It is the childhood of the cosmos, a time when things should be small and simple. Galaxies were still assembling themselves from the drifting clouds of gas and dark matter. They should be disorganized clumps, struggling to find their shape in the expanding void. Yet Virgil appears established, sitting with a confidence that unnerves the careful observer. It is sending out its signal across the abyss as if it wants to be found. Why would a galaxy hide its true nature behind a veil of ordinary starlight? The universe does not play tricks on purpose, but it often obscures the violent truth. We are seeing the light as it was when the universe was less than 1 billion years old. This light has traveled through the stretching fabric of space, shifting toward the red. It has passed through clusters of galaxies and vast, empty voids to reach us now. And in all that time, the secret of Virgil remained locked inside the waves of light. It takes a special kind of vision to see through the disguise of a shapeshifter. We needed to look not just at the light, but at the absence of it. We needed to feel the gravity of something unseen pulling at the fabric of the image. The galaxy looks like a typical Lyman-alpha emitter, common and unremarkable in the deep surveys. It is the cosmic equivalent of a face in the crowd that leaves no memory. But the feeling of being watched persists, even when the face looks away. Let yourself drift deeper into the image, past the glowing halo of the hydrogen gas. Imagine you are descending into the galaxy itself, passing through the outer rim of stars. The silence here is heavy with the gravity of the object we are approaching. You are floating through clouds of primordial dust that choke the inner regions of the system. The starlight is dim here, filtered through layers of gas that block our view. This is the veil, the physical curtain that has kept the secret for eons. In the center of this galaxy, the conditions are far more extreme than the surface suggests. The normal appearance of the outer galaxy is a shell that protects the core. We are used to seeing galaxies with bright centers where stars are clustered tight. But here, the center is shrouded in a thick cocoon of heavy dark dust. It is like a storm cloud that refuses to let the lightning escape its belly. The energy inside is building, pressing against the walls of its own prison. We have scanned the skies for years, cataloging thousands of galaxies just like this one. They are the bread and butter of our studies of the early universe's history. We count them, measure their brightness, and assume they are all following the same rules. It is a comforting assumption that brings order to the chaos of the infinite. But nature loves to break the rules we write for it in our textbooks. Virgil is the exception that whispers a warning to us from the edge of time. It suggests that our understanding of the early universe is incomplete and perhaps naive. We thought we knew how galaxies grew and how they looked in their youth. We thought we could spot the monsters by the destruction they caused in their surroundings. But what if the monster learns to walk quietly, leaving no footprints in the snow? What if the most dangerous objects are the ones that look the most peaceful? The galaxy hangs there in the simulation of our minds, turning slowly in the dark. It is a beautiful island of light in a sea of absolute blackness. You can feel the cold of the intergalactic void pressing against your skin. But the cold is not the only thing you feel as you gaze at it. There's a vibration in the fabric of space, a hum that is barely audible. It is the sound of immense power being contained, like a holding of breath. When we look at the universe, we are always looking into the past. We are ghosts haunting a graveyard of stars that have long since burned out. The Virgil galaxy as we see it today no longer exists in this form. It has evolved, merged, or perhaps been consumed by the thing it was hiding. But the ghost of its appearance remains, traveling endlessly through the vacuum to reach us. We are witnessing a crime scene that is 13 billion years old. The clues were always there, hidden in the subtle details of the light spectrum. But we were blinded by our expectations of what a normal galaxy should be. We saw the Lyman-alpha emission and checked the box marked star-forming galaxy. It was the easy answer, the answer that let us sleep soundly at night. But the universe does not care about our need for simple, categorized answers. It creates complexities that wait billions of years for a curious mind to unravel. As you float here, suspended in the timeless moment of observation, you feel a shift. The ordinary light of the galaxy begins to feel different, heavier, and more intense. The disguise is perfect, but the instincts of the observer are beginning to wake up. We realize that the amount of energy coming from this object does not add up. The math of the stars is elegant, but here the equation is unbalanced. There is too much light, too much heat, coming from a place that should be cold. Something else is powering this engine, something that is not a star. The realization comes slowly, like a sunrise on a cloudy grey morning. We are not looking at a nursery, we are looking at a cage. And inside the cage, something ancient has been pacing back and forth for eons. It feeds on the gas and the dust, growing larger in the dark. The galaxy named Virgil is a Jekyll and Hyde, a dual personality in the cosmos. To the casual glance of the visible telescope, it is Dr. Jekyll, respectable and calm. It follows the laws of physics and plays its part in the cosmic dance. But underneath, the shadow of Mr. Hyde is waiting to take control of the host. It is a parasitic relationship where the hidden monster slowly consumes the beautiful shell. We are drifting closer now, drawn by the invisible gravity of the mystery. The stars of the galaxy are merely the decoration on the surface of the deep. They twinkle with the innocence of youth, unaware of what lies at their core. It is a tragedy played out on a scale that the human mind can barely grasp. A whole galaxy, a city of millions of stars acting as a mask for one object. The silence of space is broken only by the steady rhythm of your own breathing. You are the witness to this ancient masquerade, the only one who knows the truth. The universe is full of these hidden pockets of violence wrapped in velvet. We drift through them, oblivious, thinking the night sky is a peaceful tapestry. But every point of light has a story, and some stories are nightmares. In the early universe, the rules of engagement were different than they are today. Things happened faster, with more violence and less structure than we are used to. The gas was thicker, the gravity was more intense, and the darkness was deeper. In this environment, monsters could grow quickly, hidden by the fog of creation. Virgil is a survivor of this ruthless era, a fossil that tells a brutal tale. We look at the spectrum of light again, searching for the crack in the facade. The Lyman-alpha line is bright, a soaring peak in the data of the astronomers. It screams stars, creation, life, and light to anyone who looks at it. It is a perfect alibi, a cover story that has held up for decades of research. But we are persistent, and we have built new eyes to see through the lies. The James Webb Space Telescope was built for exactly this kind of unmasking. It was designed to pierce the veils of dust that blind our other instruments. But before we switch on that golden eye, we must appreciate the disguise. We must respect the elegance of the galaxy's camouflage in the deep dark. It has fooled us for so long because it mimics the truth so perfectly. There is a lesson here about the nature of the universe we inhabit. Nothing is ever exactly what it appears to be on the surface level. There are layers of reality peeling back like the skins of an infinite onion. We are currently resting on the outer layer, looking at the pretty lights. But the gravity of the core is pulling us down, deeper into the truth. Can you feel the pull of that hidden mass tugging at your drifting soul? It is a subtle current, like the undertow of the ocean beneath a calm surface. You are safe, but you are aware of the depths beneath your feet. The Virgil galaxy is a portal to a time when the universe was wild. It is a reminder that we are small and our understanding is fragile. We float in the presence of this ancient deceiver, marveling at its construction. The hydrogen gas glows with a ghostly blue light, illuminating the surrounding space. It looks like a halo, a saintly ring of fire protecting the galaxy. But halos can also hide the face of the one who wears them. And this halo is blindingly bright, dazzling our senses and hiding the dark. The deception is not malicious. It is simply the way of survival in the cosmos. Matter clumps together, gravity pulls it in, and energy must find a way out. Sometimes that energy comes from stars, and sometimes it comes from the abyss. In Virgil, the two are mixed together so intimately that they become one. It is a chimera, a beast made of two different animals joined at the hip. We are suspended in the moment before the revelation, savoring the mystery. The unknown is a delicious feeling, a mixture of wonder and slight fear. We want to know what is inside, but we also want to delay the knowing. We want to float here in the ambiguity of the 800 million year mark. We want to believe that the universe is simple and that galaxies are just stars. But the data is relentless, and it whispers that we are wrong. The normal appearance is cracking under the weight of our scrutiny. We are beginning to see the edges of the mask peeling away from the face. The normal Lyman-alpha emitter is about to betray its own secret identity. The darkness between the stars and Virgil is not empty, it is crowded with hunger. There is a density to the shadows that speaks of something solid and massive. It is waiting for the dust to clear, waiting for the infrared light to find it. But for now, it remains a silhouette, a suggestion of a shape. We drift around the perimeter, looking for a way inside the fortress. The walls of gas are high and thick, opaque to visible light. They are the curtains that the monster has drawn across the window. But no curtain is perfect, and light has a way of escaping eventually. The story of Virgil is the story of the universe's secret growth. It tells us that the giants were present even when the cosmos was a child. They did not wait for the universe to grow up before they took their thrones. They were born in the dark, fed by the dense fog of the beginning, and they have been sitting there, watching the stars turn ever since. As we prepare to look deeper, we must steady our minds for the shift. We are about to trade the beautiful lie for the terrifying truth. We are about to stop looking with our eyes and start looking with our minds. The galaxy is fading from a visual object into a data point of immense weight. It is a transformation that happens in the silence of the control room. It happens in the quiet drift of the telescope at the Lagrange point. And it happens here, in the theater of your mind as you listen. The Virgil galaxy is no longer just a smudge. It is a question mark. And the question is, what kind of engine drives a galaxy this early? What could possibly generate the energy required to mimic a whole city of stars? The answer lies in the darkness that the visible light cannot penetrate. It lies in the heavily obscured heart of the system where the dust is thick. We are drifting toward a threshold, a boundary line in our knowledge. Crossing it means accepting that the universe is stranger than we dreamed. It means accepting that monsters can look like angels from a distance. And Virgil is the most beautiful, most deceptive angel in the deep field. The stars continue to shine their blue, innocent light into the void. They do not know what sits in the center of their own home. They are like villagers living on the slopes of a dormant volcano. Or perhaps they know, and their light is a warning signal to us. A frantic waving of arms across the billions of light years of distance. Do not come closer, the light seems to say to the traveler. There is nothing here but fire and dust and the ending of things. But we are explorers, and the warning only draws us in closer. We are moths attracted to the flame that burns behind the screen. The stillness of the scene is absolute, frozen in the amber of time. But if you listen closely to the silence, you can hear the heartbeat. It is slow, rhythmic, and immensely powerful, echoing through the gas. It is the sound of something feeding, something growing, something waiting. The curtain is about to rise on the second act of this cosmic play. The beautiful blue mask is about to be stripped away by the infrared. We are hovering on the edge of the revelation, suspended in the dark. The monster is breathing, and soon we will see its face. We are now crossing the threshold from the seen into the unseen, drifting past the deceptive blue light that has fooled us for decades. The universe has kept this secret locked away in a vault of cold dust, waiting for a key that could turn the heavy tumblers. That key is not made of iron or steel, but of golden mirrors unfolding silently in the shadow of the earth. We have built a machine to see the heat of the past, to feel the warmth of ghosts that have long since faded. The James Webb Space Telescope hangs in the void like a silver ship on a dark ocean, its eye fixed on the ancient patch of sky. It is looking at the Virgil galaxy, but it is ignoring the camouflage of the starlight that we already know so well. It is tuning its senses to the mid-infrared, a wavelength of light that moves through dust as if the clouds were made of glass. When we switch our vision to this new spectrum, the familiar shape of the galaxy begins to dissolve before our very eyes. The bright, comforting halo of hydrogen gas fades into the background, becoming a ghost of the image we once thought was real. In its place, a new structure emerges from the darkness, glowing with a fierce and unexpected intensity that startles the mind. We are no longer looking at a nursery of young stars, but at something far more concentrated and terrifyingly powerful. The data from the MIRI instrument flows in like a river of revelation, washing away the old assumptions with a flood of heat. It is as if we have been looking at a dark house from the outside, seeing only the reflection of the moon on the windows. But now, someone has turned on a light in the basement, and the glow is seeping up through the floorboards. The center of the galaxy, which once appeared dim and quiet, is now burning with a brilliance that defies the laws of star formation. The light is not the soft, scattered glow of fusion, but the sharp, piercing scream of matter being torn apart. We are witnessing the signature of a heavily obscured active galactic nucleus, a monster that has been hiding in plain sight. The realization settles over us slowly, like the cold creeping into a room when the fire dies down in the hearth. This is not a garden where suns are born. It is a feeding ground where matter goes to die. The heart of Virgil is not a cluster of stars, but a supermassive black hole that is actively accreting gas and dust. It is eating the galaxy from the inside out, consuming the very material that should have been used to build new worlds. And yet, it has managed to keep this violence hidden from us behind a curtain of unparalleled thickness. We call it heavily obscured because the monster has wrapped itself in a cocoon of dust so dense that visible light cannot escape. Imagine a storm cloud the size of a solar system, filled with grains of sand and soot and heavy elements. This cloud is swirling around the drain, moving faster and faster as it falls toward the event horizon of the singularity. As the material falls, it rubs against itself, generating friction and heat that creates a temperature of millions of degrees. But this inferno is buried so deep within the dust that its true brightness is muffled, like a scream underwater. The MIRI data reveals this hidden heat, showing us the glow of the dust itself as it cooks in the radiation. The dust absorbs the high-energy X-rays and ultraviolet light from the accretion disk and re-radiates it as a dull, throbbing infrared glow. It is the thermal footprint of a hidden giant, the only clue that something massive is breathing behind the wall. We are seeing the energy output of a beast that is trying to remain anonymous in the crowded early universe. Why would the universe create such a thing so early in its history, just 800 million years after the beginning? The cosmos was supposed to be a place of simple growth, a time for small things to slowly merge into larger ones. But here we have a fully formed engine of destruction operating at maximum capacity while the universe is still in its infancy. It feels out of place, like finding a sophisticated machine buried in the strata of the dinosaur age. It suggests that the monsters did not evolve slowly from the chaos, but were born ready to conquer the dark. The sheer amount of energy pouring out of this hidden center is staggering, dwarfing the combined light of all the stars in the galaxy. If we could strip away the dust, the brilliance would be blinding, a quasar that would outshine the entire host galaxy. But the dust remains, a mercy that shields the rest of the universe from the naked fury of the accretion disk. It creates a strange duality, a Jekyll and Hyde existence where the galaxy appears peaceful on the outside, but violent within. We drift closer to the event horizon in our minds, feeling the gravitational pull that holds the entire system in its thrall. The gas clouds here are moving at significant fractions of the speed of light, whipped into a frenzy by the invisible mass. There is a rhythm to the feeding, a chaotic pulse that sends shockwaves through the surrounding material, shaping the galaxy's future. The black hole is not just a passive resident. It is the dictator of this island universe, controlling the fate of every star. The infrared light tells us that the obscuring cloud is not just a uniform fog, but a complex, clumpy structure of shifting shadows. There are holes in the blanket, brief openings where the intense radiation leaks out to ionize the gas far away. These are the clues we missed before, the subtle fingerprints that looked like innocent star formation to our less sensitive eyes. But now that we see the heat, we understand that the ionization is caused by the monster, not the stars. It creates a profound sense of unease to realize that our previous map of this galaxy was completely wrong. We were charting a calm sea, unaware of the leviathans swimming just beneath the surface of the waves. How many other galaxies are hiding similar secrets, wearing the mask of innocence while they nurture a monster in the dark? The universe suddenly feels less predictable, a place where appearances are carefully constructed, lies designed to fool the observer. The heat we detect is a specific kind of warmth, the vibration of silicate grains and hydrocarbon molecules dancing in the dark. It is the signature of dust that has been forged in the depths of earlier generations of stars, now serving a new master. This dust is the ultimate veil, a physical barrier that separates the violent inner sanctum from the calm outer reaches. It is thick enough to stop the most powerful photons, converting their energy into the slow, steady warmth we feel now. As you float in the imaginary space near this object, you can almost feel the radiant heat on your skin. It is a dull, oppressive warmth, like the air in a closed room that has been heated by a hidden fire. The silence of space is still there, but it now feels charged with the tension of the energy being contained. You are standing next to a boiler that is running at dangerous pressures, wondering if the walls will hold. The concept of an active galactic nucleus sounds technical, but in reality, it is a scene of primal chaos and consumption. It is the universe eating itself, a cannibalistic ritual that releases the energy needed to light up the dark ages. The black hole is a point of infinite hunger, a tiny dot that casts a shadow over thousands of light years. And yet, it is invisible, a nothingness that can only be defined by the things it destroys. The JWST has allowed us to peer through the keyhole, to catch a glimpse of the hidden machinery of the cosmos. It has shown us that the early universe was not a quiet place, but a realm of hidden giants and obscured fires. The Virgil galaxy is a prototype, a warning that the timeline of cosmic history is more crowded than we thought. The shadows are not empty. They are full of things that have been waiting for us to find them. We watch the data streams, visualizing the swirling disk of superheated gas that circles the drain of the abyss. The colors in our mind shift from the cool blues of the stars to the angry reds and purples of the center. It is a descent into the underworld, a journey from the light of day into the forge of the gods. And in that forge, something is being hammered out that will shape the destiny of the universe for eons. The heavily obscured nature of this object is what saved it from discovery for so long, preserving its mystery. It allowed the galaxy to masquerade as a normal Lyman-alpha emitter, a friendly beacon in the deep past. But the mask has slipped, and the face beneath is one of raw, unfiltered power that commands our respect. We are small watchers on a distant rock, peering into the heart of a furnace that burned long before the Earth existed. The energy output is so high that it pushes against the infalling gas, creating a delicate balance between gravity and radiation. It is a standoff between the desire to eat and the force of the meal fighting back against the mouth. This battle creates winds that blow outward, pushing the dust into the thick, torus-shaped walls that hide the center. The monster builds its own cage, constructing the very walls that keep it hidden from the rest of the universe. There is a beauty in this balance, a terrifying symmetry that governs the life and death of the galaxy. The black hole needs the fuel to shine, but its shining pushes the fuel away, starving the beast. It creates a flickering heartbeat, a cycle of feeding and fasting that lasts for millions of years in the dark. We are catching it in a moment of gluttony, a phase where the obscuration is thickest and the fire is hottest. The MIRI instrument is a marvel of human engineering, a cold telescope designed to look at hot things. It must be kept colder than the void itself to detect the faint warmth of the distant dust. It is a bridge of ice that allows us to walk over the fire without being burned by the heat. And as we cross that bridge, we leave behind the comfort of the visible world and enter the realm of the invisible. The realization that Virgil hides a monster changes the way we look at every other smudge of light in the field. It makes us suspicious, paranoid that the sky is full of shapeshifters, wearing the skin of normal galaxies. We begin to wonder if the universe is filled with wolves in sheep's clothing, hiding their hunger behind a smile. It is a thought that lingers in the back of the mind, a gentle disturbance in the calm waters of sleep. The dust grains that hide the black hole are microscopic, smaller than the smoke particles from a candle flame. But together, in their trillions, they form a barrier that is stronger than any fortress wall built by hands. They are the guardians of the secret, the keepers of the gate that leads to the singularity. They absorb the secrets of the black hole and whisper them out as infrared light, a code we are finally breaking. We are drifting deeper into the mental image of this obscured nucleus, trying to visualize the geometry of the shadows. The dust is likely shaped like a donut, a thick ring that surrounds the central engine of the galaxy. If you looked from the top, you might see the fire, but from the side, you see only the dark wall. And by chance, or perhaps by cosmic design, we are viewing this galaxy from the shadows, through the veil. This orientation is what made the deception possible, aligning the dust perfectly to block our line of sight. It is a cosmic alignment that preserved the secret until we were clever enough to look for the heat. It reminds us that our perspective is limited, that we only see what the universe allows us to see. We are prisoners of our angle of view, trapped by the geometry of where we happen to sit in the void. But the heat does not care about angles. It flows through the dust like water through a sieve, escaping in all directions. It carries the message of the monster to anyone with the right eyes to see it in the dark. And now that we have seen it, we can never unsee it. The galaxy is forever changed in our memory. It has lost its innocence and gained a terrible majesty, a weight that anchors it in the deep past. The silence of the script is filled with the imagined roar of the accretion disk, a sound that cannot travel through space. But we feel it in the data, a vibration of power that shakes the foundations of our understanding. The early universe was loud with the sound of these engines revving up, preparing for the long cosmic day. We are listening to the echoes of that industrial age, the sounds of heavy machinery building the galaxies. The heavily obscured classification is a dry scientific term for something that is deeply poetic and mysterious. It speaks of things that are hidden for a reason, of powers that are too great to be exposed to the naked eye. It hints at a universe that protects its secrets, wrapping its most dangerous children in blankets of dust. We are the intruders, peeling back the covers to see what is sleeping in the bed of the cosmos. As we linger on the image of the glowing dust, we begin to sense that the story is not just about the whole. It is about the relationship between the whole and the galaxy, the host and the parasite living together. They are locked in a dance that will determine the fate of billions of stars yet to be born. The black hole is the heart of the system, pumping energy out into the veins of the galaxy. But the heart is too big, too strong for the body that contains it, creating a tension in the structure. We are starting to see that the monster is not just a resident, but a ruler that might be too powerful for its throne. The scale of the energy output suggests a mass that defies the rules of galactic anatomy we thought we knew. It is a giant trying to wear the clothes of a child, bursting at the seams with contained force. The mystery deepens as we realize that the black hole is not just obscured, it is likely overmassive for its host. The balance we expect between the size of the galaxy and the size of its central hole is broken here. We are looking at a discrepancy, a glitch in the matrix of galaxy formation that demands an explanation. The infrared light has solved one mystery, the source of the energy, but it has opened the door to a deeper, darker question. How did something this massive grow this large, this quickly, in a galaxy this small? The dust hides the black hole, but it cannot hide the gravity that distorts the space around it. We feel the tug of that unexplained mass, a heavy anchor dragging the galaxy down into the depths of the unknown. The MIRI data is just the first layer of the onion, the first step into the labyrinth of the dark. We are standing at the entrance to a cavern that goes deeper than we dared to imagine. The light from the dust fades slowly in our mind's eye, leaving us in the comforting darkness of the void once again. But the feeling of the heat remains, a memory of the fire that burns behind the curtain of the night. We are drifting away from the revelation, carrying the heavy knowledge of the hidden monster with us. The universe is vast and cold, but there are pockets of intense heat that act as hearths in the wilderness. Virgil is one of these hearths, a fireplace where the logs are made of stars and the smoke is made of dust. We warm our hands by its invisible fire, grateful for the glimpse of the truth it has offered us. But as the warmth settles into our bones, we look back at the galaxy and notice something else in the shadows. The sheer size of the influence of this black hole is troubling, extending far beyond its dusty cage. It is a presence that permeates the entire system, a ghost that haunts every corner of the Virgil galaxy. We are moving toward a new realization, one that concerns the very limits of growth and time in the early cosmos. The heavily obscured monster is not just hiding, it is waiting to show us just how big it has become. The next layer of the mystery is about to unfold, revealing a challenge to our concept of cosmic scale. We are drifting now into the realm of impossible proportions, where the laws of scale we hold dear begin to crumble. The heat we felt in the infrared light was just the first whisper of a much deeper and heavier secret. We have moved beyond the realization that a monster exists, and we are now confronting the terrifying reality of its size. The galaxy known as Virgil is not merely hiding a black hole, it is struggling to contain a titan that defies logic. You are floating in the shadow of an object that feels far too heavy for the delicate cradle of stars around it. It is a sensation of profound imbalance, like seeing a mountain resting precariously on the back of a small, trembling creature. The universe usually follows a strict set of architectural rules when it builds the majestic structures of the deep cosmos. There is supposed to be a golden ratio, a harmony between the size of a galaxy and the black hole at its center. For decades, we believed that the host and the guest grew together, locked in a respectful waltz of mutual evolution. We thought the galaxy was the master, a vast city of stars that slowly fed the small, dark engine in its heart. But here, in the silence of the early universe, that ancient contract has been shattered into a billion pieces of dust. We are witnessing an overmassive black hole challenge that threatens to rewrite the history of how everything came to be. Imagine walking into a small, humble cottage and finding that the interior is as vast and echoing as a great cathedral. This is the feeling of disorientation that washes over the astronomers who study the energy output of this distant system. The galaxy itself is compact, a young collection of gas and stars that has not yet grown to full maturity. Yet the engine roaring behind the curtain of dust is producing enough power to rival the brightest quasars in existence. It is a paradox of space and energy, a riddle wrapped in the dark shroud of the primal epoch. The sheer amount of energy pushing outward against the dust is staggering, a testament to the gluttony of the central beast. It is consuming matter at a rate that borders on the impossible, testing the limits of how fast a black hole can feed. The dust-shrouded energy output is the exhaust of a machine running at dangerous speeds, pushing the boundaries of physical laws. It creates a pressure that should, by all rights, blow the small galaxy apart, scattering its stars into the void. And yet, the system holds together, bound by the crushing gravity of the very monster that threatens to destroy it. We are forced to ask how such a massive object could assemble itself so quickly in the dawn of time. The universe was only 800 million years old, a mere blink of an eye in the grand cosmic calendar. There should not have been enough time for a black hole to eat its way to this staggering, impossible weight. It sits there like an ancient king on a throne that was built yesterday, commanding a kingdom that is too young. The discrepancy is not just a matter of numbers. It is a profound disturbance in our narrative of creation. We feel the weight of this anomaly pressing down on our minds as we float in the imaginary space nearby. It suggests that the seeds of these monsters were planted deep in the dark, long before the first stars turned on. Perhaps they did not grow slowly from the ashes of dead suns, as we have always told ourselves in stories. Perhaps they were born heavy, collapsing directly from the primordial fog with a hunger that was already insatiable and vast. The concept of an overmassive black hole implies a terrifying dominance of the dark over the light in the early universe. In our modern local universe, the black hole is a tiny fraction of the galaxy's total mass, a mere percentage point. But here, the ratio is skewed, and the black hole accounts for a significant portion of the entire system's weight. It is as if the shadow has more substance than the object casting it, a reversal of the natural order of things. You can feel the gravitational distortion rippling through the fabric of space, pulling everything toward the center with an iron grip. The stars in the outer rim are whipping around at incredible speeds, enslaved by the dark master in their midst. They are not drifting peacefully. They are racing to avoid falling into the mouth of the thing that anchors them. It is a desperate orbit, a flight for survival played out against the backdrop of the calm, indifferent void. The dust that shrouds the center is not just a veil. It is a blanket trying to smother a raging fire. The energy is trapped, bouncing back and forth within the cocoon, heating the dust until it glows with that infrared pulse. We are seeing the fever of the galaxy, the temperature rising as the body fights against the infection in its heart. It creates a stifling atmosphere, a sense of claustrophobia, even in the infinite openness of the intergalactic deep. Why does the universe allow such monsters to exist, breaking the rules of symmetry and balance that we find so beautiful? Perhaps our definition of beauty is too small, too limited to encompass the violent grandeur of the true cosmos. The overmassive black hole is a reminder that nature does not care about our need for proportion or fairness. It builds what it can, where it can, using the raw materials of gravity and time to create giants. As we drift closer to the event horizon in our minds, the sense of scale becomes overwhelming and deeply humbling. The event horizon of this black hole would swallow our entire solar system without even noticing the addition to its mass. It is a void so large that it defies the human ability to visualize it, a dark abyss of nothingness. And yet, it is hidden inside a galaxy that, from the outside, looks like a harmless smudge of blue light. The deception is what haunts us. The idea that something so gargantuan could hide behind a mask of such normalcy. It is like finding a leviathan swimming in a garden pond, concealed beneath a single floating lily pad. The Virgil galaxy is a master of disguise, but the disguise is straining under the bulk of the truth it conceals. The seams are bursting, leaking the radiation that gave away the game to our waiting telescopes. The challenge this object presents to our models of galaxy formation cannot be overstated in the quiet of this night. We used to think galaxies formed first, creating a cozy nest for the black hole to eventually settle into. But this object suggests the black hole came first, a primordial anchor around which the galaxy was forced to build. It changes the story from one of peaceful co-evolution to one of submission to a dominant, heavy force. We are looking at a tyrant that established its rule in the very first era of the cosmic morning. It did not wait for permission or for the slow accumulation of matter over billions of quiet years. It took what it wanted, gorging on the thick gas streams of the early universe until it became a giant. And now it sits there, shrouded in dust, daring us to explain how it became so large so fast. The energy output is a continuous scream of power, a luminosity that would be blinding if the dust were removed. It is billions of times brighter than our own sun, concentrated into a space smaller than our planetary system. The density of that power is terrifying, a localized point where the universe is tearing itself apart to feed the dark. We can almost hear the roar of the accretion disk, a static interference in the calm signal of the night. This is the overmassive problem, a black hole that has grown faster than its host, outpacing the galaxy itself. It is a race where one runner has sprinted ahead, leaving the other far behind in the dust of history. The galaxy is trying to catch up, forming stars as fast as it can, but it cannot match the monster. The black hole is winning, consuming the potential of the future before it can even be born into light. We float in the presence of this imbalance, feeling the tension between the small galaxy and the huge hole. It is a precarious state, a moment of cosmic instability frozen in the amber of the light's travel time. We do not know if the galaxy survived this phase, or if the monster eventually consumed everything around it. we are looking at a ghost, a memory of a struggle that ended more than 13 billion years ago. The dust that hides the struggle is composed of heavy elements, carbon and silicon, forged in the first fires. It is the ash of the first generation of stars, now serving to hide the killer of the next generation. There is a tragedy in this cycle, a cannibalistic turning of the wheel that grinds matter into energy. The universe recycles everything, even the stardust of its dead children, to feed the hunger of its dark lords. The realization of the black hole's mass forces us to reconsider the density of the early universe's environment. It must have been a place of immense crowding, where gas clouds collided and merged with violent frequency. It was a time of feasting, a banquet laid out for the seeds of black holes to grow into giants. Virgil is a survivor of that gluttonous age, a relic that carries the weight of its history in its core. We drift through the layers of the mystery, pushing past the normal exterior to the heavy, impossible center. The journey is a descent into pressure, moving from the vacuum of space into the crushing grip of gravity. You can feel the heaviness in your chest, a sympathetic resonance with the galaxy that carries this burden. It is a lullaby of weight, a song sung by the dark matter that binds the system together. The overmassive nature of the black hole acts as a gravitational lens for our thoughts, focusing them on the unknown. It magnifies our ignorance, showing us just how much we still have to learn about the dawn of time. We thought we had mapped the path of galactic life, but here is a detour we did not expect. It is a path that leads into the shadows, into the dense regions where the monsters are born. The energy that escapes the dust is red and tired, worn out by its struggle to break free. It reaches us as a faint warmth, a dying ember from a fire that once raged with unimaginable fury. But the story it tells is one of vitality and violence, of a universe that was wild and untamed. We are safe here in the cool future, but we can look back and see the heat of the beginning. Imagine the sheer density of the accretion disk, the traffic jam of gas waiting to fall into the hole. It is a maelstrom of matter, swirling and crashing, glowing with the friction of its own despair. And looming over it all is the event horizon, the silent black sphere that waits with infinite patience. It is the ultimate destination, the point of no return for the light and the dust and the stars. The galaxy Virgil is a shell, a fragile container for a substance that is too volatile to hold. It is like a paper lantern trying to hold a burning coal, glowing beautifully just before it burns. We watch it with a mixture of awe and pity, knowing the precarious nature of its existence in the dark. The balance cannot hold forever. Eventually, the energy or the gravity will win the war for the galaxy. The scientific challenge is a whisper in the ears of the theorists, keeping them awake in the quiet hours. It demands new equations, new simulations, new ways of thinking about how the universe puts itself together. The overmassive black hole is an anomaly that breaks the beautiful symmetry of our current understanding of the cosmos. It is a jagged rock in the smooth stream of our knowledge, creating turbulence that we cannot ignore. We drift in that turbulence now, feeling the currents of the mystery washing over our tired, floating minds. It is a soothing chaos, a reminder that the universe is far greater and stranger than our dreams. The monster in the dark is not a villain. It is a force of nature, inevitable and grand. It does what it must do, following the hidden laws of gravity, that were written at the instant of creation. The shadows around the black hole are deep and rich, filled with the secrets of the first epoch. We peer into them, trying to see the shape of the seed that started it all. Was it a star that collapsed? Or was it a direct collapse of a massive cloud, a shortcut to greatness? The answer is hidden in the dust, obscured by the very process that made the black hole grow. We are left with the sensation of the heaviness, the undeniable presence of mass where there should be less. It anchors us in the moment, making us feel small and light in comparison to the ancient giant. We are dust motes floating in the cathedral, watching the light filter through the stained glass of the nebula. The silence is amplified by the knowledge of the noise that is being suppressed by the dust. The overmassive anomaly suggests that the universe was efficient at making monsters long before it was good at making life. It prioritized the creation of these gravitational anchors, setting the stage for the galaxies to form around them. It is a dark genesis, a story where the shadows came before the light of the steady stars. And Virgil is the proof, the ancient witness that has traveled across the ocean of time to testify. As we absorb the scale of this discovery, we begin to wonder about the personality of such an object. A black hole that large, that early, dominates its environment completely, shaping the flow of gas and time. It is a solitary ruler, isolated by the devastation it creates in its immediate vicinity. The Jekyll and Hyde analogy we used before becomes even more poignant when we understand the scale. The Hyde persona is not just a hidden side, it is the dominant force, the true nature of the galaxy. The Jekyll appearance, the blue stars, the calm gas, is just a thin skin stretched over the monster. We are seeing the tension between the mask and the face, the struggle of the galaxy to maintain its disguise. It is a cosmic drama played out on the stage of the infrared and the visible light. We continue to drift, pulled along by the narrative of the discovery, deeper into the implications of the size. The dust-shrouded energy output is the heartbeat of the giant, pulsing with a rhythm that is slow and deep. It is a lullaby for the doomed matter, a song of finality as it crosses the threshold of the dark. We listen with our instruments, translating the heat into a picture of the unspoken violence. The sheer audacity of the universe to build something this big, this soon, is what captivates the imagination. It speaks of a creativity that is boundless and terrifying, a willingness to push matter to its absolute limits. We are the beneficiaries of this creativity, living in a universe enriched by the processes of these giants. But we are also the children of the calm aftermath, looking back at the storms of the beginning. The weight of the black hole seems to distort the time around it, slowing down the ticking of the cosmic clock. Close to the horizon, a second can last an eternity, stretched by the intense curvature of space. We are far away, but we can feel the drag of that distortion, a slowing of our own internal rhythm. It helps us to relax, to let go of the hurried pace of our lives and sync with the deep time. The mystery of the overmassive black hole is a soft pillow for the mind, a puzzle that does not need to be solved tonight. It is enough to know that it exists, that the universe is capable of such wonders and such terrors. We can drift in the uncertainty, comfortable in the knowledge that we are small and the cosmos is vast. The giant sleeps or feeds in the distance, and we are safe in the quiet observatory of our dreams. The contrast between the small, innocent-looking galaxy and the behemoth inside is the ultimate cosmic irony. It teaches us to look deeper, to question the surface, to never assume we know the weight of a thing by its size. The universe is full of dense secrets, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true magnitude. Virgil has shown us its secret, and it is heavier than we could have ever guessed. As we prepare to leave the immediate vicinity of this gravitational giant, we carry the feeling of its mass with us. The sensation of the overmassive stays in the mind, a grounding force that pulls us towards sleep. We are drifting away from the heat, back into the cooler regions of the intergalactic void. But the story is not over. The existence of this monster implies something about the era it lives in. If one such monster exists, hiding in a galaxy that looks so normal, could there be others? The question hangs in the silence, a gentle hook that pulls us toward the next chapter of the journey. The universe is dark and deep, and we have only just begun to peer behind the masks of its inhabitants. The darkness is about to get wider, and the implications of Virgil are about to spread across the sky. We are drifting now in the psychological deep end of the cosmos, floating between two realities that should not exist together. The universe is usually a place of singular truths, where an object is either a creator of light or a destroyer of it. But here, in the ancient silence of the Virgil galaxy, we are confronted with a paradox that troubles the sleeping mind. We are witnessing a system that is living a double life, torn between the innocence of its shell and the violence of its heart. It is a celestial contradiction that hangs in the void, refusing to be categorized as simply good or simply evil by our standards. You are looking at a galaxy that smiles with the blue light of young stars while it hides a knife in the dark. This is the essence of the Shapeshifter, the ability to present one face to the universe while another face breathes in the shadows. We have come to understand this phenomenon as a cosmic manifestation of a Jekyll and Hyde dual personality, etched in the stars. To the visible telescopes that have scanned the skies for decades, this object is Dr. Jekyll, a respectable and ordinary citizen. It appears to be doing the work of the universe, turning gas into suns and lighting up the dark with a gentle fusion glow. It follows the rules of the Galactic Society, emitting the specific Lyman-alpha signal that tells us it is a nursery for new worlds. It is a comforting image, one that fits perfectly into the story we tell ourselves about how the early universe grew and evolved. But when we put on the infrared glasses of the new age, the polite mask of Dr. Jekyll melts away completely. We are left staring into the eyes of Mr. Hyde, the hidden monster that has been in control the entire time. This darker personality is not interested in creation. It is consumed by a hunger that dominates the center of the system. The two personalities are locked in a silent struggle for the soul of the galaxy, occupying the same space, but living in different times. The stars on the outside are living in the present, while the black hole on the inside is eating the past. It is a disturbing thought to realize that the universe can sustain such a split identity for millions of years without breaking apart. The galaxy is a house divided against itself, with the attic full of light and the basement full of an unquenchable fire. We float outside the windows, watching the light flicker, wondering which personality will eventually win the war for the galaxy's future. Will the stars eventually starve the black hole? Or will the black hole swallow the stars and turn off the light forever? It is a question that has no answer in the frozen snapshot of time we are observing from our distant vantage point. We are drifting through the layers of this duality, feeling the shift in the atmosphere as we move from the blue to the red. The blue light feels cool and familiar, like the water of a calm ocean that gently laps against the shore of the night. It whispers of potential and life, of solar systems that might one day host their own observers looking back at us. But the red light, the light of the hidden Hyde, feels heavy and thick, like the air in a forge. It carries the weight of the accretion disk, the friction of matter rubbing against matter in a desperate attempt to survive the fall. The existence of such a perfect disguise in the early universe forces us to question everything we thought we knew about the timeline. We have always assumed that the monsters grew late, that they were the result of eons of mergers and slow accumulation. But Virgil tells us that the monsters were there from the start, wearing the clothes of the innocent to hide their true size. It suggests that the universe was a dangerous place even in its nursery, filled with wolves that learned to walk among the sheep. The deception is so complete that it makes us wonder how many other galaxies are lying to us right now. As we ponder the nature of this cosmic duplicity, we must also consider the environment in which this drama is taking place. We are 800 million years after the Big Bang, a time when the universe was undergoing a profound transformation. This was the era when the great fog of neutral hydrogen was being burned away by the first sources of light. It was a time of clearing, a morning where the mist was lifting from the valleys of the cosmos to reveal the structure beneath. This period is known to astronomers as the Epoch of Ryanization, a turning point in the history of everything that exists. Before this time, the universe was a dark and opaque place, a realm where light could not travel freely through the gloom. The fog was thick and heavy, a universal blanket that smothered the light of the first stars and kept the secrets of the deep. But something happened to lift the fog, something powerful enough to ionize the gas and make the universe transparent to light. For a long time, we believed that the humble stars, the Dr. Jekylls of the cosmos, were the ones responsible for clearing the air. We thought that their gentle ultraviolet light slowly chipped away at the hydrogen fog, creating bubbles of clarity that eventually merged. It was a nice story, a story of the little things working together to change the nature of the vast universe. But the discovery of the hidden monster in Virgil suggests a different, more violent narrative for the clearing of the cosmic mist. The cosmic Ryanization era, implications of a black hole, this massive and this hidden, are profound and unsettling for our theories. If these monsters were common, if they were hiding in many of the galaxies we thought were normal, they changes the equation. The energy pouring out of the accretion disk, even though it is shrouded in dust, eventually finds a way to escape. It leaks out through the poles, through the holes in the dust, shooting beams of ionizing radiation into the intergalactic medium. We are drifting toward the possibility that it was the monsters, the Mr. Hydes, who helped to clear the fog of the early universe. It might not have been the gentle work of stars, but the violent screaming of black holes that woke the universe up. Imagine a landscape covered in thick mist, and suddenly, great bonfires are lit in the distance, burning the fog away with their heat. These black holes were the bonfires of the dawn, the engines that pumped energy into the cold void and change the chemistry of space. This realization shifts our perspective from a universe of peaceful growth to one of violent and energetic upheaval in the dark. The Virgil galaxy is not just a curiosity. It is a laboratory where we can see this process happening in real time. We are watching the black hole push against the fog, carving out a cave of light in the surrounding darkness. It is a lonely job, a solitary struggle against the weight of the hydrogen that presses in from all sides. The duality of the galaxy plays a crucial role here, as the stars and the black hole work in a strange, unintended partnership. The stars clear the local area, creating a small bubble of transparency around the galaxy itself, like a porch light in a storm. But the black hole has the power to punch through the deeper fog, sending its influence out across millions of light years. Together, the Jekyll and Hyde team might be the architects of the transparent universe we enjoy today. We float in the imaginary space between the galaxy and the wall of primordial fog that still exists in the distance. You can feel the tension between the light and the dark, the struggle of the photons to break free from their prison. The universe wants to be seen, it wants to be clear, but the gravity of the past tries to hold the curtain closed. It is a slow, silent battle that takes place over timescales that the human mind can barely comprehend. The sheer number of these hidden objects is the variable that keeps the astronomers awake in the quiet hours of the night. If Virgil were unique, a singular freak of nature, then it would be just an interesting footnote in the history books. But nature rarely makes just one of anything. If you find one cockroach, there are usually hundreds in the walls. The presence of this one shapeshifter implies that the early universe might be teeming with similar hidden giants. We are looking at a population of ghosts, a generation of galaxies that have been misclassified and misunderstood by our limited vision. We thought we were counting sheep, but we might have been counting wolves wearing the wool of the sheep. This changes our census of the early universe, adding a massive amount of hidden mass and energy to the ledger. The universe is heavier, hotter, and more complex than we dared to imagine before we found this key. As the fog of the Ryanization era lifts in our minds, we see a cosmos that is punctuated by these intense points of hidden power. They are like lighthouses situated on the dangerous cliffs of the early epoch, warning us of the hazards of gravity. The light they emit is not the steady beam of a bulb, but the flickering, chaotic light of a fire fueled by debris. And this fire is what cooked the universe, changing the state of the matter from neutral to ionized. The narrative of the cosmos is being rewritten in the ink of the infrared, a story that is invisible to the naked eye. We are reading between the lines of the visible spectrum, finding the subtext that tells the true history of the dark. The Jekyll and Hyde galaxy is the protagonist of this new chapter, a character that is complex and flawed. It teaches us that appearance is not reality, and that the most important things are often the hardest to see. We drift back to the image of the galaxy itself, suspended in the velvet emptiness that surrounds it on all sides. The duality is almost hypnotic, a rhythmic shifting between the blue perception and the red reality. It breathes with a cadence that matches the slow pulse of the universe itself, expanding and contracting in the dark. You can sync your own breathing to this cosmic rhythm, inhaling the blue peace and exhaling the red tension. The dust that creates the mask is also a player in this grand drama of the rionization of the cosmos. It absorbs the harsh radiation that would otherwise sterilize the galaxy, acting as a shield for the fragile chemistry of life. But it also blocks the light from escaping, hoarding the energy that could clear the fog outside. It is a delicate balance, a negotiation between the need to protect the inside and the need to illuminate the outside. We are witnessing the universe learning how to balance its budget of energy and matter in the first billion years. It is a messy process, full of trial and error, full of galaxies that grow too fast and holes that eat too much. Virgil is an example of a system pushing the limits, testing the boundaries of what is physically possible. It is a pioneer in the dark, blazing a trail that other galaxies will follow in the eons to come. The philosophical weight of this duality settles on us like a warm, heavy blanket in a cold room. It reminds us that we, too, are composed of contradictions, of light and dark living in the same vessel. We project a face to the world while we hide our inner thoughts, just as the galaxy hides its monster. The connection between the observer and the observed becomes intimate, a shared secret across the abyss of time. We are floating in a sea of implications, letting the waves of the new theory wash over us gently. The idea that black holes were the gardeners who pruned the early universe is a radical shift in our thinking. It suggests that destruction is a necessary part of creation, that the fog must be burned to be lifted. The Hyde personality is not evil, it is functional, a necessary engine for the evolution of the cosmos. Without the monsters to heat the gas and stir the pot, the universe might have remained cold and stagnant for much longer. The galaxies might have remained isolated islands in the fog, unable to see each other across the dark. The violence of the accretion disk was the spark that ignited the connectivity of the modern universe. It is a comforting thought to know that even the monsters have a purpose in the grand design of things. The calm voice of the data whispers to us that there is still so much we do not know about this era. The veil has been lifted on one galaxy, but the rest of the sky is still waiting for its close-up. We are like children walking on a beach, picking up a single shell and realizing the ocean is full of life. The Virgil galaxy is that shell, a beautiful and intricate object that hints at the vastness of the undiscovered. As we drift deeper into the hypnotic state of understanding, the distinction between the galaxy and the black hole begins to blur. They are not two separate things, but one system, one organism that relies on both its heart and its skin. The Jekyll and Hyde analogy ultimately breaks down because the two parts are essential to each other. The galaxy feeds the whole, and the whole shapes the galaxy, driving the winds that blow the fog away. We are left with a sense of awe at the complexity of the machinery that operates in the silence of space. It runs without anyone to watch it, without anyone to maintain it, driven only by the laws of physics. It is a perpetual motion machine of immense scale, grinding through the fuel of the early universe. And we are the latecomers, arriving billions of years later to marvel at the smoke it left behind. The silence of the script allows you to feel the vast distances involved in this story of light and fog. The photons from the rionization era have traveled for 13 billion years to reach the mirrors of our telescope. They are tired and stretched, weary travelers carrying the news of the universe's awakening. We receive them with gratitude, decoding the message they bring from the edge of the perceptible world. The dual personality of the galaxy serves as a reminder that the universe is not a static painting, but a dynamic movie. It changes, it evolves, it wears masks and takes them off as the eons pass by in silence. What looks like a star-forming galaxy today might look like a quasar tomorrow, and a dead elliptical galaxy in the far future. We are catching Virgil in a specific moment of its life, a fleeting instant of perfect deception. The thought of the cosmic dawn is a peaceful image to hold in the mind as we drift through the narrative. It brings to mind the slow rising of the sun over a misty landscape, the gradual revelation of the world. But in the cosmos, the suns are galaxies, and the mist is the hydrogen that fills the space between them, and the wind that blows the mist away is the hot breath of the hidden monsters. We are suspended in the beauty of this violent dawn, safe from the heat, but close enough to see the glow. The red light of the dust is a nightlight in the dark room of the universe, casting long shadows. It creates a mood of mystery and discovery, a sense that we are exploring a haunted house where the ghosts are real. But these ghosts are made of gravity and time, and they cannot hurt us here in the present. The implications of the Ryanization era extend forward in time, influencing the structure of the universe we see today. The bubbles of clarity created by objects like Virgil eventually merge to form the clear space we look through. We are looking through the windows carved by these ancient architects, viewing the cosmos through their handiwork. Every star we see in the night sky is visible because the fog was lifted by the giants of the past. We owe our view of the universe to the monsters that we fear, to the hidden engines that burn the mist. It is a debt of gratitude we pay by studying them, by trying to understand their nature and their role. We honor the Jekyll and Hyde galaxy by seeing it for what it truly is, a complex bringer of light. The paradox resolves itself in the function, in the work that was done, in the deep silence. As we prepare to move beyond the implications of this specific era, we carry the weight of the duality with us. The idea that things are not what they seem is a key that unlocks many doors in the dark. It prepares us for the possibility that the universe has even more surprises waiting in the shadows. The Mask of Virgil is just one of many, and the masquerade ball of the cosmos is far from over. We are drifting toward the edge of our current understanding, toward the horizon where the known meets the unknown. The story of the Shapeshifter has shown us that the map we have drawn is incomplete and perhaps misleading. There are territories in the dark that are marked, "Here be dragons," and we have just found the first dragon. It is sleeping in its cave of dust, dreaming of the time when it ruled the fog. The realization that the universe is crowded with these hidden actors changes the feeling of the empty space. It is no longer a void, but a canvas painted with invisible ink that we are just learning to read. The darkness is full of information, full of stories that are waiting for the right light to reveal them. We are learning to read the dark, to interpret the shadows as signs of presence. The drift continues, moving us gently away from the specific mechanics of the Ryanization and into the realm of the future. The discovery of Virgil is not an ending, but a beginning of a new search for the siblings of the monster. If the universe is consistent, then the sky should be filled with these red dots, these hidden eyes watching us. We are turning our gaze to the rest of the deep field, wondering what else is hiding in the crowd. The silence deepens as we contemplate the sheer number of potential discoveries waiting in the data. The little red dots that astronomers talk about are the cousins of Virgil, the other members of the family. We are drifting toward the realization that we are not alone in the dark, that the shadows are inhabited. The next step is to accept the company of the monsters, to welcome them into our model of the night. We have arrived at the final horizon of our journey, drifting in a sea of quiet realization. The single galaxy we studied, with its mask of blue stars and its heart of red dust, is not alone. It is merely the first face we have recognized in a crowd of billions that stretches across the deep sky. The revelation of the hidden monster has opened our eyes to a universe that is far more populated than we dreamed. We are now looking at the darkness between the known stars and wondering what else is waiting there to be found. The silence of the night is no longer empty. It is filled with the breathing of countless other shapeshifters. We are standing on the edge of a new era of understanding, where the shadows are as important as the light. The story of Virgil is likely just the opening chapter of a much larger volume of cosmic history. As we turn the page, we begin to suspect that these hidden giants are not rare anomalies, but common citizens. The early universe was a place of rapid growth and violent hunger, a perfect breeding ground for these dusty beasts. We are beginning to see them everywhere we look, faint red dots that were previously ignored or misunderstood by us. They are the siblings of the monster we met tonight, scattered across the vast distances of the cosmic dawn. It is a profound shift in perspective to realize that the universe has been hiding its true nature from us for so long. We thought we were looking at a garden of innocent flowers, but we were walking through a forest of ancient oaks. The little red dots that are appearing in the deep surveys are the eyes of these wolves watching from the dark. They are small, compact, and intensely red, just like the heart of the galaxy we have been exploring together. They mark the locations where the universe is feeding, where the gravity is strongest and the dust is thickest. The search is now on, a silent hunt conducted by the golden mirrors of the telescope floating in the cold void. We are looking for the telltale heat, the infrared whisper that betrays the presence of the hidden accretion disks. The data is trickling in, slowly building a map of the invisible structures that underpin the visible world we know. And with every new point of light we confirm, the universe feels a little heavier and a little more mysterious. We anticipate that future discoveries, more siblings of this shapeshifter, will confirm that we are living in a crowded cosmos. It is a family reunion of sorts, bringing together the scattered members of a lineage that began in the first epoch. We are meeting the ancestors of the giant black holes that reside in the centers of galaxies today. They were the pioneers, the first ones to conquer the dark and light the fires of the Rionization era. Imagine the universe as a vast ocean at night, where you can only see the lights of the passing ships. For a long time, we thought the ships were few and far between, lonely travelers on a dark sea. But now we have put on night vision goggles, and we see that the water is full of submarines running silent. The ocean is teeming with activity, with engines humming just below the surface, unseen by the casual observer on the shore. This realization does not bring fear, but a deep sense of awe at the richness of the reality we inhabit. The universe is not a barren wasteland. It is a fertile field where gravity grows monsters as easily as it grows stars. We are drifting through a cosmos that is alive with energy, even in the places that look dead and empty. The emptiness is an illusion created by our limited vision, a curtain that is finally being pulled back by our curiosity. The question of whether these monsters are common in the cosmic dawn is slowly being answered with a silent yes. They seem to be a standard feature of galaxy evolution, a necessary phase that systems go through in their youth. Perhaps every galaxy, even our own Milky Way, once wore a mask of dust to hide a growing heart. We might be looking at our own baby pictures when we stare into the red face of the distant Virgil. It connects us to the deep past in a way that feels intimate and personal, bridging the gap of 13 billion years. We are made of the same stuff as these galaxies, born from the same laws of physics and the same gravity. The iron in our blood and the calcium in our bones were forged in fires similar to the ones we see hiding. We are the children of the monsters, the gentle descendants of a violent and chaotic ancestry that shaped the dark. As we drift further away from the specific details of the science, we are left with the feeling of the mystery. The universe has shown us a card from its deck, but it is still holding most of the hand. We know there are more surprises waiting, more layers of the onion to be peeled back in the silence. But for tonight, the revelation of the Shapeshifter is enough to fill our minds with wonder and heavy dreams. The idea of a cosmic dawn takes on a new meaning when we know what was waking up in the morning mist. It was not just the gentle sunrise of stars, but the waking of hungry giants that roared in the silence. The dawn was loud with radiation and energy, a time of immense power that set the stage for everything else. We can feel the echoes of that power now, fading into the background hum of the universe as it sleeps. We are floating in the aftermath of that creation, safe in the cool, quiet era of the present day. The monsters have settled down, growing old and quiet, or merging to become the silent anchors of the modern galaxies. The fire has cooled, and the dust has settled into the lanes of the Milky Way and Andromeda. We are the beneficiaries of the peace that followed the storm. Looking back at the lightning from a safe distance, the sensation of drifting through this knowledge is like floating down a wide, slow river at twilight. The banks are lined with trees that cast long shadows, and the water is smooth and dark as glass. You are carried along by the current of time, moving effortlessly past the landmarks of cosmic history. There is no need to steer, no need to row. The universe carries you exactly where you need to go. The little red dots are like fireflies blinking in the trees along the riverbank, signaling their presence in the gloom. They are beautiful in their own way, small beacons of heat that warm the cold expanse of our understanding. We watch them pass by, acknowledging their existence without needing to disturb their ancient, silent slumber. They are part of the scenery of the night, part of the tapestry that wraps around us as we rest. The mystery of the heavily obscured universe is a gentle riddle that does not demand an immediate answer from us. It is a puzzle that we can hold in our hands, turning it over slowly as we drift towards sleep. We know that the answers are out there, waiting in the light that is still traveling toward us. But there is no rush to find them. The universe has all the time in existence, and so do we. We are learning to be comfortable with the unknown, to accept that there are things we cannot see with our eyes. The Shapeshifter teaches us to trust our other senses, to feel the heat and the gravity of the invisible. It reminds us that reality is deeper than appearance, and that the truth often wears a disguise to protect itself. We are learning to look with our minds, to see the red heart beating beneath the blue skin. The universe is a vast, sleeping giant, and we are tiny thoughts drifting through its immense, dreaming mind. We are exploring the corridors of this mind, opening doors and finding wonders that have been hidden for eons. Each discovery is a small light turning on in a dark room, revealing the furniture of the cosmos. And tonight, we have found a room full of hidden treasures, wrapped in dust and waiting for us. The feeling of being watched by the siblings is not a feeling of danger, but of companionship in the void. We are not alone in the dark. We are surrounded by the ancient family of the universe. They are the elders, the ones who were here first, the ones who built the structure we live in. We bow to them in the silence, acknowledging their seniority and their power as we float past them. The journey we have taken tonight has moved us from the surface of a blue galaxy to the depths of a red hole. We have traveled from the visible to the invisible, from the light to the heat, and from the known to the unknown. It is a journey that mirrors the descent into sleep, moving from the bright world of the day to the dark world of dreams. We are following the path of the light as it fades, sinking deeper into the comfort of the subconscious. The heavy, luxurious flow of the narrative is slowing down now, matching the slowing rhythm of your own heart. The excitement of the discovery is fading, replaced by a profound sense of peace and acceptance of the night. The monsters are sleeping, the stars are drifting, and the universe is breathing its slow, steady breath. You are part of this breath, rising and falling with the expansion of the space between the galaxies. The dust that hid the black hole is now a soft powder that sprinkles over your thoughts, quieting them. It is the Sandman's dust, gathered from the heart of a distant galaxy and brought to you across the light years. It covers the worries of the day, burying them under a layer of ancient cosmic silence. You are safe beneath this blanket, hidden from the noise of the world, just as the black hole was hidden. The future discoveries can wait for another night. The science and the data can be put away in the drawer. Now is the time for the feeling of the cosmos, for the emotional connection to the deep dark. We let go of the need to understand and embrace the need to simply be, to float, to drift. The universe is not a problem to be solved, but a lullaby to be listened to until the eyes close. We are drifting away from Virgil now, leaving the Shapeshifter to continue its masquerade in the deep past. It grows smaller in the distance, a fading point of light that merges with the background stars. We are moving back toward our own time, back toward the quiet safety of our own galaxy. But we carry the memory of the red heart with us, a warm ember glowing in the center of our sleep. The vastness of the space between the galaxies opens up around us, a comfortable and endless void. It is a cushion of nothingness that supports us, holding us up as we let go of the last tethers of gravity. We are weightless, timeless, and formless, dissolving into the velvet fabric of the night. The crowded dark is friendly, a gathering of silent guardians who watch over us as we rest. Now, the telescope begins to close its golden eye, folding its mirrors back into the sleep of the machine. The data streams that flowed like rivers are drying up, turning into a trickle of silence. The images of the red dots and the blue stars are fading from the screen of the mind. We are turning off the lights in the observatory, one by one, leaving the room to the shadows. The hum of the cooling fans dies down, replaced by the stillness of the mountain air. The universe outside continues its slow rotation, indifferent to our watching, content in its own existence. The galaxies are turning like heavy wheels in the dark, grinding the seconds into dust. You can feel the rotation of the Earth beneath you, a gentle rocking motion that lulls you deeper. We are passengers on this rock, traveling through the quietest parts of the void, far from the fires. Let the image of the hidden monster dissolve into a soft, formless color that washes behind your eyelids. It is a deep, warm red that slowly cools into a profound and restful black. The heat is gone, the energy is spent, and only the comfort of the darkness remains. You are drifting into the space where there are no stars, no galaxies, no light at all. It is the space of pure potential, the space before the Big Bang, the space of deep and dreamless sleep. The silence here is absolute, a thick blanket that wraps around your consciousness and protects it. There is no sound of accretion, no roar of engines, only the sound of your own slow breathing. Inhale the silence and exhale the noise of the world, letting it drift away like smoke. The siblings in the distance are sleeping too, wrapping themselves tighter in their blankets of dust. The entire universe is settling down for the long night, entering a state of hibernation. The energy of the cosmic dawn has faded into the calm twilight of the present moment. Everything is still. Everything is quiet. Everything is exactly where it is meant to be. You are floating in a capsule of safety, a bubble of peace that nothing can penetrate or disturb. The gravity of the earth holds you gently, grounding you in your bed while your mind soars. You are free to drift, free to let go, free to surrender to the pull of the sleep. The journey is over, the work is done, and the shapeshifter has returned to the shadows. Feel the heaviness in your limbs, the pleasant weight that pulls you down into the mattress. It is the gravity of the black hole, transformed into a comforting embrace that holds you close. Your eyes are heavy, too heavy to open, sealed by the dust of the ancient stars. There is nothing left to see, nothing left to witness, only the velvet dark. The words are slowing down now, spacing out, leaving room for the silence to enter and fill the gaps. The sentences are becoming whispers, soft sounds that barely ripple the surface of the quiet. We are drifting into the final fade, the place where language ends and the dreaming begins. The story of the universe is a bedtime story, told to comfort the children of the stars. The galaxy is gone. The monster is gone. The red dots are gone. There is only the dark, the beautiful, soft, endless dark that welcomes you home. Drift into it, sink into it, let it cover you completely. The stars are turning off, one by one, like candles being blown out in a vast cathedral. The last light flickers and dies, leaving a perfect, peaceful darkness. The silence is the only thing that remains, a faithful companion for the night. It is a silence that loves you, a silence that heals you, a silence that keeps you safe. We are drifting, we are floating, we are sleeping. The universe is asleep, the galaxy is asleep. You are asleep. Good night to the shapeshifter. Good night to the stars. Good night to the dust. Good night